At this time, we're headed into our first panel. Our first panel will talk about inspiring entrepreneurship. Our panel facilitator, and the panel start coming forth at this time. Our panel facilitator is Greg Jurev, head Sherpa of My Sherpa, computer services company. Greg will provide you with a little bit about his background and an overview of the panel discussion. So at this time, Greg Jurev.
Dr. DeLuz, if you could come up. Uh-oh, everybody's walking out the back. Everybody stay! Hey, that was really, really great. Thank you, Anirban. In fact, I was here about 2 years before the recession hit, and there was a different economist speaking. There you are. And that person said the one thing you can count on about the economy is that, of the U.S. economy, is how resilient our economy is. And I think that person was right, because we went through the worst of it and we're on the rebound. What a first-class operation. Congratulations, Dito. A lot of work went into preparing for this. I know I've been involved in the meetings leading up to this, and there's been a lot of hands-on making sure that this is successful and that we get some real inspirational information out there that'll help people start businesses, grow their business, and be successful creating jobs in Delaware. And that's what this is all about. I think the first state is first class, and that's well reflected in the people that I work with. I recently brought my company, My Sherpa, from Pennsylvania, with the help of Dito, to Delaware. And it's been the best business decision I've made in the last 10 years. My business is flourishing, growing, and I've had a lot of help from people in this room. I see a lot of familiar faces. I see business partners here. I see vendors. I see friends. I see government officials that have helped me, and state officials. So this is a big deal. I saw a few droopy eyelids, so I want to have everybody just stand up. Please stand up. We're going to get some oxygen flow in here. Everybody stand up. And I want to see a show of hands. How many people here own a business? All right, we got about 30%. And another show of hands of how many people have ever dreamed of starting and owning their own business? All right. Well, that's good to see, because you're at the right place. Today, you can actually learn how to turn your dreams into reality and get your business off the ground. There's so many resources here. And what I wanted to do is really put the focus on everybody can sit down now, thank you. You guys are all good sports. But I want to focus on my panel here. These people they're very inspirational. I had them at my office the week before last to get to know them personally and hear their stories, which they're going to share with you today. And these are my peers. Not that we're in the same business or industry, but for the fact that we all share some common traits, and I'm sure you as well in this room will see those common traits in yourselves. One is that we have passion. You can't be an entrepreneur without passion, trust me. The passion to build something new, something from our own creativeness. And this could be something groundbreaking, and you're going to hear about some groundbreaking things, or it could be something small, whereas you just see an opportunity to do something better, and you want to do that better for personal reasons or to help other people. But chasing your dream and having that passion, it's a pretty big step. I'll admit it. So sometimes going into it a little blindly is actually good. You get started, and then you get the help you need to get on track. And we're going to talk a little bit about some of the sacrifices or risks that people take. And the biggest thing really is that it's new and uncharted. And I see that as an opportunity. I like excitement. I like new things. And to do the same thing over and over again, not so fun. So being an entrepreneur, trust me, there's always something new to learn, and every day is a learning experience. The second thing I think about that we have in common, all my peers here, my colleagues, is the desire in our hearts to bring something to life and to ensure its success. That's a big deal. First of all, you have to have the mental fortitude. Every morning you got to wake up, and you've got to get your brain ready to learn. I mean, you've got to be engaged, because everybody that you meet, everybody that you speak to, there's going to be something that they can impart that will help you grow your business or refer you to somebody else that would be influential. And then the other part is there's a desire to do things that maybe aren't so fun, such as like going out and getting your legal agreements together, or your business plan, or your financing, or your marketing plan. So we tend to do the things that we enjoy doing that come naturally. And the things that are the hard things, well, you got to dig down and do them. And I think the third thing that we all share in common is courage. You know, we have a courage to take risk and to lead others into the unknown, because as you grow your business, you hire other people, and they're looking to you for, hey, where are we going next, boss? What are we going to do next? What's the next big thing? How are we going to keep growing the company? And you have to have answers to those. And you don't always have a safety net. So at the end of the day, you're doing something that I think the majority are not willing to do, and I think that's what makes being an entrepreneur so special. So my panelists are all in really different stages of their careers and also their businesses. Some have owned more businesses than just one. And what I'd like to do is take about 2 minutes per panelist for them to introduce themselves to you, tell you a little bit about their background and story. Then I'm going to ask questions of the panel, and then for the last 10 minutes, we're going to open this up for questions from the audience. And I really hope that everybody asks questions that are burning, and be happy to answer them for you. So if we could start right over here, Doctor.
Good morning. Can you hear me? Hello. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Lozelle DeLuz, and I have been an entrepreneur for more than 30 years. Prior to that time, I was an educator as well as an executive in a publishing company. I became an entrepreneur in 1973 here in Delaware. Prior to that, my husband and I were located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We were the first operators of color in this Northeast region for McDonald's Corporation. We acquired our first restaurant in Philadelphia, Germantown and Shelton Avenue, later moving to Wilmington, Delaware, for our first store here in Delaware. We also owned 2 other stores, one at 41st and Market, and the other one 700 West 4th Street. I have also been, as I've said, an educator, and now that I'm semi-retired, I do consulting at the University of Delaware, as well as with McDonald's Corporation, working with new operators as needs arise for them.
Deborah Price is our next panelist. She's going to tell you about her brand new business that she's actually going public with in September, launching it.
That's right. Thanks, Greg. My name is Deb Pace, and I want to thank everyone for coming out here this morning. I actually didn't set out to be an entrepreneur, which was kind of funny. I did not raise my hand. But my background really was marketing and communications journalism. And after working for people for so long, I decided I wanted to start my own business, which I did. I started a marketing and communications company in 2009. And a few months later, a colleague came to me and told me he had this great idea for building a company out of soybean products for humanitarian aid, food products, and things like that. And it was a manufacturing company, and I just kind of looked at him like a deer in headlights and thought, why on earth would you pick me? And that was more than a year ago. And since then, I can tell you what stage the soybeans are in Delaware in their growth phase right now. I can tell you all the different types of soybeans, and I can tell you the difference between food grade and feed grade, which means absolutely nothing to you. But the point there is that I had a bunch of different backgrounds, and none of it really mattered until something was presented to me that really made sense to me. And so now I have a company called Del Soy, and we have been working with a researcher to create a highly nutritious soy product that will be targeted to not just humanitarian food aid, but also to child school programs to enrich the nutrition. I know we can all relate to how we need to improve the nutrition in our school programs. And we're going to be basically coming out with that in the fall of this year. So stay tuned for more information on that. Thank you.
Great. And our next panelist, and I'm sure you'll remember his name after hearing it the first time today, is Bobby Pancake. Bobby is of High Five Inc. and manages and owns and runs Buffalo Wild Wings.
My business partner and I are the owners of all 5 Buffalo Wild Wings in the state of Delaware. We have 1 restaurant in Bel Air, Maryland, and are continuing to expand. We came here in 2004. We were the first Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant in the Northeast, the 302nd in the chain of now close to 800 restaurants. So we got in on the front end. Both of us had worked for Buffalo Wild Wings Corporation in Minneapolis, Minnesota prior to becoming franchisees. So we ended up in Delaware. We love it here. We're continuing to grow. When this venture started in 2004, I had a hair like Luke had, and you know, it's so Luke.
Okay, thank you. And our next 2 panelists are business partners, Luke Morgan and Chase Conley. They're high school students, and they're on their second business right now. Their first business was Demon's Hot Sauce, which is an online business selling hot sauce that they created. And now they're working on a new business, which is called App Dudes. And it's unique that it focuses on collecting application ideas for iPads and such in a competition-like format. So,
all right, hey guys, I'm Luke Morgan, and I kind of always didn't want to be an entrepreneur because I never knew what an entrepreneur really was, but I've always wanted to start a type of business. I had my own version of a lemonade stand, for example, when I was 5 or 6 or something like that, and I started my business. That doesn't mean it was good, it means it was a business. And so it was I would refurbish golf balls, basically, and I would clean them because I lived next to a golf course. And I would come up to people who were playing golf who probably didn't really want to talk to me, but I came up to them and said, oh, I have these golf balls I want to sell. And they're like, oh, okay. They would give me $1, and I would kind of walk away awkwardly. And then, but it was a start. And then eventually I wanted to start a new business, an actual business, and I decided to go around hot sauce. My stepfather is West Indian, so he would make random hot sauces at home, and so I was like, that may be a good idea for a business. So I got online, and I started thinking about it, and I was like, wow, this is a lot of work. So I brought on Chase with me, who was a longtime friend from Friend School, which is where I go to now. And so basically it just went on from there. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of learning, and it may not have been multi-millionaire, but it was still a learning experience, and it was really good. And now we rolled kind of the money that we got from there into a new business called the App Dudes, which I'll let Chase talk about. And yeah, that's basically it.
So, yeah, I came on with Luke because I'm one of those weird people that enjoys doing the things that no one else does, start creating a website and things like that. But our new business is the App Dudes, and basically we take ideas for new applications for iPad, iPod Touch, mobile applications, and then we pick the one that we think will be the best and the most profitable, and we have our developer develop it. So we're still in the sort of infant stage of the business, but it's something that we're really into technology, and it's something that's been of interest to us.
Thanks, Chase. It's a big deal having everybody here in front of the room. So my first question that I've prepared to ask my panel, and I'm going to go and right out and say that I think that Delaware is a bright, white-hot spot right now to start a business and be successful. There's a lot of interest, there's a lot of help, money, assistance, whatever you want to call it, to be successful in Delaware. But I want to find from the panel what you think makes Delaware a unique and golden place to be an entrepreneur right now.
Greg, I'll start.
Okay,
I'll
thanks,
start.
Deb.
I'll break the ice. We have the benefit of actually having a pre-meeting, so we've talked a little bit about some of the things, and I think that a few of us who were there can agree that the network in Delaware is very, very strong, and you don't have to look far to find someone who's willing to help you or someone who can help connect you to the next person that might be the one that you need to help get you started or to fill in the blank. And I think my colleagues on the panel agree, but I think you probably have more to say.
Well, it's amazing. We opened our first restaurant in Bear, Delaware in 2004, and we were under contract with Buffalo Wild Wings to open 4 additional locations in a 5-year period. And I remember early on we had a Impala that was wrapped in yellow Buffalo Wild Wings, and we would be out looking for sites. I'd be in Rehoboth looking for a site and have to be back at the restaurant that night to run the shift. And people would come in and say, "Hey, what were you doing in Rehoboth? What were you doing in Rehoboth?" So it's a small, Delaware's a small community, and things that happen in the southern part of the state, they know about in the northern part of the state before you can drive back and forth between the two. So it certainly helped us, and anywhere you go in Delaware, you run into someone that knows someone or worked with someone, or it's a small state. We all know each other.
I certainly agree. The climate is really conducive to entrepreneurship, recognizing that small businesses really are the background. And there are many small businesses here that I think if the state were larger, you would not have the opportunities that exist here. The political climate is very good. You know your legislators. They know you. The support is good. The community that you work in, as long as you give back, they support you. You are able to expand and grow. And that is something that you do not find in many, many other areas. So Delaware is a very, very friendly state for entrepreneurship.
I definitely agree with my other panelists. One of the amazing things about Delaware and that I found is that even if you aren't like impressive and you say, "Oh, I'm an entrepreneur," all of a sudden they start warming up to you, and it's like, even if you don't have like a gigantic business, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur, that's so cool." They want to know all about you, and they're so supportive. And I'm only 15, but people all of a sudden take me seriously if I say I'm an entrepreneur, and they realize that even though he's young, yes, he can try to run a business, yes, he can be successful in running a business, and just that backing is really great to the spirit of an entrepreneur in itself.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's great amount of support. For example, Luke and I participated in the Delaware Emerging Technology Bootcamp program, and I don't think that we would have been able to create a business plan on our own without the help from Ken and all the people that were there to assist us. I think the programs are just great in getting businesses started.
So to summarize from the first question I asked, what makes Delaware such a unique and golden place to do business? It's really about the tight-knit network here in Delaware. Because it's a small state, we can all take advantage of that, and now everybody in this room knows one another through the panel here. I saw you at the Entrepreneurs Conference, and we were sitting next to each other and watching that panel. Also that I think Delaware, as Dr. Harris said, is a community that supports its entrepreneurs and gives back to them. And it's also a friendly place where people are friendly and supportive. So on my next question is, Who in Delaware has helped inspire you to get up in those tough mornings when you have a lot of work to do and make the tough decisions and be successful?
I am inspired and was because of my employees and also the debt that I had and I knew that I had to service. That gave me the inspiration to get out of bed, stay up as late as I needed to, etc. And when you are first in business, even though the community might think that you make lots of money, but there are a few years that you do very well if you can just service your debt. So that will encourage you to get up and move.
Thank you.
There are, obviously I have young children, so I would say a number one, but beyond that though, the fact that there are people even in this room who believed in the concept of the company and believed in myself and some of my business partners running it and put themselves on the line for specific funding, and then came forward with some other options to help us get started financially. And when people believe in you, even at a time where you're not quite certain where to go next, but people have put value in who you are and what you can do, makes you want to get up every morning and you know, like Dr. Lozelle said, or Deleuze said, just really put everything forward that you can, because I'm not going to let any of them down, you know. And
Don't
that's
want to disappoint.
yeah. So just people in the community who see what we have and who are willing to really put themselves out there. So
It seems to be a common theme from when we met at my office.
Yeah.
Bobby?
Like Dr. Deleuze says, your debt sometimes motivates you, and I think that was it in the beginning, but I'm motivated by people, you know, once we settled into Delaware and began to grow, and coming to some of these conferences in the Newcastle County Chamber of Commerce and really starting meeting and interacting with people, Mark Stellini, Greg Balance, Bob Ashby, who owns McGlenn's, Xavier, who owns Harry's Seafood and Savoy Grill. Those people, to me, as an entrepreneur, I bought a franchise. Those guys all went out and did it on their own, figured it out. So that inspires me because I have inside of me that same itch. Someday I'd like to. So surrounding yourself with those types of people will inspire you and keep you moving.
All right, well, friends and family is definitely a big one for me. When you have that support from your friends who are like, they're going out and just like chilling at their house or going to like a sleepover or something, and you're like, sorry guys, I gotta, you know, help, you know, work on my business a little bit. And so they're like, oh, really? But they're like, you know what, yeah, that's cool, we got you. Just the understanding, and then the support from my family, which is very intense. And then also one very cool thing is when I remember first starting Demon's Hot Sauce, and which changed to Demon Sauces later on. And I looked at the website, and we had Google Analytics on it, which is basically it tells you who's looking at it and how many people looked at it. And I saw one of the first viewers for it, and it said 3 views, and I'm like, yes. And it's just like that very beginning where you're like, yes, I finally started something, it's moving, and even if it's so small, 3 viewers who didn't even buy anything, but the fact is, oh my gosh, it's getting forward. So just the fact that you have people who making progress is really inspiring.
I think it's great that there's so many people to look up to in the Delaware entrepreneurial scene, but yet they're not too good to talk to. So they're not too good for you. They're always willing to offer help, and I think anyone you talk to in Delaware is willing to help the underdog, essentially. Yeah, there's great support.
So Delaware has a great support network, and from what we're hearing here is people that are supporting us, we get up because we don't want to disappoint them, but they are approachable, and they believe in us. They believe in who we are and what we're going to do. I have I had a lot of questions, but I want to stay on time so Ken doesn't drag me out of here. And so the last question, we'll give everybody about a minute, and then we'll take some Q&A from the audience. Would be, how do you measure yourself? How do you measure your success? What does success mean to you, and how do you know that you're successful in your own eyes?
I measure success by the persons that I am able to inspire. An example is we give young persons, like the two young men on the end, many times their first opportunity of having a work experience, and to bring in a young person, help them continue with their education, observe you as a role model that they can hope to want to become an entrepreneur, and they do indeed become one. As I've looked at some of the employees I've had over the past 30 years, they have not all become entrepreneurs in the sense of entrepreneurship. However, educators have been spawned out of the restaurant as they've gone on to college, and teachers are entrepreneurs in a sense that they are held responsible to their community. They have to report to their leadership. They have to sell themselves in order to be successful. We also have about 12 young entrepreneurs who started with us in the McDonald's system, who now own their own business. 5 of them have multiple units now in the Washington and Philadelphia area. So I measure success by what I am able to, I hope, give back. And then they, in turn, own their own operations, and they are training others to do the same.
I think that's great. I would like to, add on to that, because I think probably all of us entrepreneurs here are looking to build our businesses so that we have more to give back as well. But to go even more than that, and kind of maybe a little more granular, is success for an entrepreneur is not even, in the business sense, it's not even just like a big check at the end of the day. It's really about where was the challenge and how did I overcome it? Because I know as my business has been in the startup phase, you meet so many obstacles and some things that seem like brick walls, and it would be so easy in some days to just walk away. But to be able to look around that wall and see another opportunity or a way of doing it differently, and maybe opening up another door you never even knew existed, every day that something, whether it be small or massive, comes in front of me, and I can look back at the end of that day and say, it didn't stop me. I moved forward despite of it. The company is still going and even stronger now. I think that is a very successful day.
If I influenced one person to take responsibility for their actions, to look inside themselves and make themselves better, to step up and be a leader in an organization, it's a success.
I believe in the fact that you have to help yourself before you can help others. So I believe that when I reach the point where I can get enough so that my business can, or the profits from my business can help other people, that's always a really good thing to have. For example, our school was doing a mural for an inner city community center, And one of the things that Demon Sauces did, because we felt that it would be very good to give back to the community, is that we donated a check to that project. So we thought that that was a really good idea. The fact is that if we're so lucky that we get to have the ability and opportunity to start a business, then we might as well give other people opportunities and abilities to do things themselves. And that's what entrepreneurship's all about. It's about improving yourself so that in the end, you can improve your community.
I think I measure success not only by the numbers. Like one time, Luke and I, we had an order for 200 bottles of hot sauce from a camp that we went to, and that was great, but I think we enjoyed it. We enjoyed what we were doing, and that was really important. If you enjoy what you're doing, it's a sign of success. If you're stuck in a rut, it's not as fun, so being successful is contingent on enjoying yourself and having fun.
So, I mean, the common theme that everybody's saying here, and probably the reason why they're volunteering their time to be in front of a room of people like this, is that they're trying to give back. The measure of success being an entrepreneur is how you can help others, how you get the best performance, and help others see their goals and realize that if everybody that works with you can get to their goals, you're obviously going to succeed in yours. And I think that sense of giving back, paying it forward, and overcoming challenges with the help of others is really the heart of the matter. We have just about 3 minutes left for our time slot, and so I'd like to have 1 or 2 questions from the audience. If you would raise your hand, and we could use a couple of quick volunteers here to ask a question of our great panel. There's one. It's hard to see from up here. Go ahead. Yes.
I would say that learn all that you can about the area that you would like to start your business in. Secondly, understand that being an entrepreneur is really, really hard work. And I'd also say that the determination that you have for success or for doing well is the important thing. IQ is important, training is important, education is important, but determination to succeed, in my opinion, is one of the necessary ingredients to be considered if you are going to be successful.
And I would say, too, is always be a student. One of the most important things that I've learned throughout the whole process is to ask questions, because there's so many things that I don't know and that as entrepreneurs we don't know. And the term is you don't know what you don't know, so just keep asking questions and never stop. I mean, even when your question's answered, ask another.
Be passionate, be dedicated, surround yourself with great people, and I think you've heard this a couple times before, never give up.
Get help, basically. Definitely as a young entrepreneur, I think Chase and I can both say that we definitely need help. We needed and also still need help. Just asking people and asking questions is a great thing to do. Make sure you have somebody that you can look up to or advise you, just so that you can get the guidance to keep moving forward on what you need to do, because we don't know everything, and the fact is other people, you can find the answers, so you might as well take the opportunities and chances you get.
I think do something that you're really passionate about. We started Demon's Hot Sauce because we were passionate about it, but towards the end of it, we weren't as excited, so we decided to transition to something different. We decided to transition to technology, which was something that we enjoyed at the time.
How about a big hand for everybody here, our panel? Thank you very much. And Ken, we're right on time.
Let's give this panel another round of applause, please.